Hi everyone, Alistair Davies here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. Today's video is all about the backswing and particularly how we can build your backswing to be like the best players in the world. Now, slight side note, obviously there are many players in the world, good players in the world that have different backswings. What I'm going to talk about really is what I would believe to be the most orthodox way to swing in the backswing to allow you to be more consistent, more repeatable, rather than the small outliners that we see that are tremendous players. But obviously there are different patterns to make them work and play well. We might see someone, with, for example, with a more upright backswing that I'm going to describe, but they shallow the club beautifully on the way down. Someone like a Justin Thomas, for example. Or we might see someone with a very flat backswing like a Matt Kuchar that also does a great job on the way down. The key is really, it has to match what you do. If it matches what you do and we get the right impact, the right ball flight, the right consistency, then we shouldn't change it for sure. So let's get stuck into what I believe are the right backswing positions and why. So we're going to talk through really the ideal positions. And again, I'm going to try and demonstrate these as best I can, but I'll also support it with some pictures of like Tiger Woods and people like that, that I believe, for example, at the moment, Tiger is pretty much in the ideal backswing positions. He's pretty damn close for me, all the way through his backswing. Obviously, there are things in his golf swing that I might tweak or change depending on his ball flight, what he's trying to do, but his backswing for me is certainly pretty much on point. So what I'm looking for really is what I would call a on-plane backswing with good width, with good matchedness between the arms and body. Okay, so if I take my setup here and I got these sticks down here, obviously this one is my parallel stance line. This one's my ball to target line behind the ball. So in an ideal world, as I take the club back, I'd want it to start with my arms, but I'd want the shaft to point to this blue line. Now, as I get to the parallel, the first parallel of the shaft, I want the club to be pretty much parallel to this yellow stick on the floor, but I also want the club to be fractionally probably toe down. Now, I have no issue with the club being toe up or matching the spine or in between the two. I have no preference at all. If I had a player that tended to get the club face too open in the downswing, then I'd probably encourage him to be more parallel with the spine. If I had a player that had the club that tended to get the club too closed, I'd tend to go more toe up. Tiger is somewhere in between, and the advantages of having the toe more up would mean your right arm or trail arm would fold more in the backswing, which means then it has to fold less in the second part of the backswing from here to the top. So there are pluses and minuses. There are, for me, an area of window that you can work in to make you hugely successful. So we're pointing to the stick, we're getting the club somewhere around about the spine level, just there. The right arm is on top of the left, as you can see here. Now, as we go to the top of the swing from here, what I want to see happen is the butt of the club go out a touch and point towards that blue stick again. And this at this stage here, when we get the arm parallel, the hands are going to be opposite my right pec, somewhere around there. But the butt of the club pointing to that blue stick. Okay, now as we get to the very top of the swing from there, we're going to turn and the arms are going to turn, move about the same amount of time. Now, ideal world, I want this club to be shorter parallel. I want the club to be above the hands. I want to feel that the hands are in a wide position to the side of my body. I'd want to feel that my body is turned like a cog. So, for example, my upper body might turn 90 degrees. My hips might turn 40, 45, depending on how flexible you are. Your thighs will turn, your knees will turn, your ankles will turn. It's cogging. So as I turn back, I go so far, then I get stuck. So my hips will turn, my thighs will turn, my knees will turn, etc. to allow me to complete that backswing. And completing that backswing is key to allowing us to have flow and rhythm, rather than being in positions where we feel we're kind of static and stuck and can't create any force or power. So simply, what we're looking for really is this position here where the club is parallel to the ground to be parallel-ish to this yellow stick on the ground, which is a few inches away from my feet, probably about 12 inches away from my feet. It's a rough guide. Then from there, the butt of the club points to the blue stick on the ground. The hands are kind of opposite my right pec, and I feel like my body is turned about 80% of the way. We just want to finish the swing off with, again, more turning of the body, let the arms go with the body, not independently. And the arm should sit pretty parallel to my shoulder line at the top. So the shoulders are going to be tilted down to the ball. Obviously, if I stand up, I'm going to lose that tilt. So I want to make sure I maintain this tilt as I turn, The arm's going to be pretty much parallel with our shoulders. I wouldn't have an issue if it's slightly above or slightly below, but in terms of my backswing checkpoint, I'd want it pretty much parallel with the shoulders. If the player was struggling for length, I might allow him to go a little bit higher. If the player wanted to be straighter and had plenty of power, I might allow him to go a bit lower. And again, there are tendencies. If a player comes to me slightly low, slightly high, but the golf ball flight is exactly what we'd want to see and he'd want to see, then I'm really happy. You don't need to change it for the sake of changing it because it doesn't fit the model. Models for me are great, but they're not the be-all and end-all. It's more about performance and ball flight and functionality. Those are key. So, a couple of ways in which you can practice this if you wanted to. You could take this stick, hold it down the club like so, and when you're swinging back, try and make sure it points. And again, hold it this side, make sure where it points all the way through the swing. So it's again against your body, pointing at the stick on the ground, pointing at that stick on the ground. As we start down, it also pointing the stick on the ground. Or if anything on the way down, I wouldn't mind it shallowing a little bit more than that. But you can use a stick as a guideline and do practice swings or lasers. But then when you go and feel the real swing, I think the key thing is to have some kind of flow. But you would practice these positions and look at them in the mirror or look at them on pictures or video and just check how you're doing. Then when we go to the shot, try and feel that we're working through those positions. Really happy with that shot, hit that great. Just a tad short of the green, but right on line. But really happy with the swing I felt I put on that. Certainly felt spacier for me, which I like. I like that feeling of width and space. So anyway, today's video has been all about those backswing checkpoints, trying to make sure you can see where you are. And again, the only thing I'd encourage you to do is if the ball flight's exactly what you want, don't worry about checking your backswing positions because you'll be doing something else to make things work. You might be exactly where these positions are, but if not, you're doing something that makes things work, and that's great. So don't worry about making changes for the sake of making changes. Don't worry about making your swing pretty for the sake of making it pretty. Make it functional, make it repeatable. Now, if it breaks down under pressure, that's a different scenario. You can look at that. So anyway, thanks for tuning in, guys, ladies. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, please click like and share the video if you can. Also, post any questions or comments or requests down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And also, if you haven't subscribed already, please hit the subscribe button down below. It'd be great to have you on board and let's lower your scores and improve your golf. Thanks for watching and see you again here soon.